Hello everybody, my name is Alex, and in today's video I wanted to talk about anti-meaning and this whole concept. Now I'm going to be reading from my notes, which I have right here, and this video is probably going to be a bit all over the place in some respects, but here it is. So, the concept of anti-meaning, what that means to me, what it might mean to you, and what should or shouldn't be done in the face of it. First of all, what do I mean by anti-meaning? Well, to properly define anti-meaning, I think I ought to define meaning first. In my mind, meaning is the feeling you get when something in your life happens that makes it engaging in a very profound way, and it is usually a positive experience, or at least there is an important enough positive response in you when experiencing it. It makes you feel connected with yourself and with the world in a spiritual sense, and it usually transforms you in a small or big way so that you develop as a person as a consequence. I'm talking about real, profound experiences here, but that doesn't mean that the events that lead to those experiences need to be extravagant or unusual in and of themselves. Speaking personally, I have experienced deep meaning just jamming it out with other musicians and interacting with people special to me. One can find meaning in the most strange or most commonplace scenarios, and the whole thing depends entirely on the person and their life. Overall, meaning serves to orient you in your life, giving you examples of how your life properly lived feels like. Hopefully that wasn't too bad of a definition. Now let's talk about anti-meaning. Anti-meaning is the feeling you get when something in your life happens that makes it disengaging in a profound way, and it is always a negative experience, even if you might casually classify it as a neutral or positive one, judging superficially. It makes you feel disconnected from yourself and from the world in a spiritual sense, and it usually distorts you in a small or big way so that you'll get traumatized as a consequence, sorry. I'm talking about real profound consequences here, but that doesn't mean that the causes have to be extravagant or unusual in and of themselves. In a sense, anti-meaning is meaning in the opposite direction, and if we assume that ultimate meaning leads to a sort of heaven on earth, then anti-meaning, in its ultimate form, definitely leads to hell on earth. Speaking personally, I experience anti-meaning almost daily, unfortunately, coming from many different sides. I would sometimes dare to say that it comes from all sides, but that would start to border on ungratefulness. It could be someone advising me to go to university, someone trying to scare me about the working life situation, somebody being defensive when I open up to them, or putting on a front, a facade, thus making meaningful communication absolutely impossible. It could be someone on a motorcycle making extremely loud noises with their vehicle, it could be a professor telling me to stop drawing in class, or it could be the discovery that I am part of a minority of one when it comes to my music tastes in my hometown, even if that statement is a tad bit exaggerated. Honestly, the deeper one goes into analyzing their daily life, and the more aware they are of anti-meaning, the more of it they are going to find. I only lately realized how much damage I suffer every day due to the fact that I can hear my parents' conversations from my room with my door closed. The things they say to one another are not just unrelated to me, they often serve as anti-meaning for my life, my hopes and dreams. I realized I don't want to know what an unhappily married couple that lives in an awful town discusses. I'd rather hide within my walls, or within the internet, or within a universe such as that of Steins Gate or Rurouni Kenshin or something, where my dreams and hopes for a better future for me, have some space to breathe and aren't constantly marauded by cruelty, forced reality, which is reality only in a twisted sense a lot of the time, and general discontent and hopelessness. I'm 20 years old, and I dare to claim the right to desire to be a hero. If I need to distance myself from my everyday environment in order to achieve this, so I will do. The character of Beatrice came to mind recently from Dante's Inferno. In the story, for those who don't know, she is Dante's girlfriend, and though she wants to help him navigate hell, she's so virtuous that she cannot even enter it. This idea of merit needing to separate itself from vice so that it can survive and continue spotless is one that spoke to me. I don't want to know what the teens of Thessaloniki walking around in their Adidas sweatpants and expensive trendy shoes feel, think, or believe. I must not know what problems befall the seriously anti-professional businessmen of Thessaloniki who have given up. I am Beatrice. I am better than them. I must not ever forgive them for having given up, so that maybe I won't give up myself. To sustain my hopes and dreams, to keep my talents and merits intact, I must hate the sinners. I must cover my ears so that their disgusting mediocrity, blatant dispensability, and spiritual vacancy don't reach me. Don't bury me 6 feet under before my time has come. I retain the right to live my life. If that means hating theirs, so be it. I will not be squandered under the weight of their eternal, zombie-like marching. As Okaberintaro says in Steins Gate Zero, against fate itself, I will prevail. The question that arises after I've said all this is distancing oneself from anti-meaning entirely a good idea? I mean, this touches a bit on the modern social media problem with echo chambers, right? Where people get their feeds customized exactly so that no opposing viewpoint is ever presented to them, which in turn leads to ignorance and, in turn, even deeper polarization. With regards to anti-meaning, I honestly don't think that disagreeing with someone automatically makes the experience of listening to them making their case anti-meaning. In fact, some of my most meaningful conversations have been with friends with who I disagree, sometimes profoundly on relevant topics. Anti-meaning cannot and must not be boiled down to exposing oneself to opposing views on something. That said, people can disagree either respectfully or not so. But beyond that, people can disagree on things whilst feeling connected to one another in a profound way, which is the real point of interest with regards to the meaningfulness of an experience. Connection. If talking with a friend, or anyone really, you find yourself disconnected from yourself, your soul being bent ever so slightly, no matter whether or not you agree or disagree in the context of your discussion, you best leave as soon as possible. People must not talk to each other in order to talk. They must talk in service of their connection with each other. I feel like people here in Thessaloniki, I can't and won't speak for any other place, have disorienting conversations with one another all the time, leading to a world where everyone has lost themselves, their souls are buried under masses of garbage and filth, and hope loses its meaning, as these people have nothing to hope for, except maybe living a premium lifestyle and riches, which to me is a psychopathic goal. But I guess that's me. To get back to the point of echo chambers, though, I think life is already tragic enough, what with its illnesses, fatal accidents, the ever-present and always inescapable death, the presence of malevolence, the necessity for daily toil, poverty, etc., etc. Considering all these, I do not think one should favor including even a small amount of anti-meaning in their life, in order to have a more spherical view of things, so to speak, over aiming to live a life of total, pure meaning, already impossible as that is. Finally, let's talk about defense mechanisms. A defense mechanism is some sort of psychological or even physical measure one takes to defend themselves from some sort of experience. usually negative. Defense mechanisms are often discussed as something bad, something that one needs to get over in order to live their lives. And while that is, in many cases, correct, I consider defense mechanisms a tool, among other things, that can aid me in order or in the pursuit of a life of maximal meaning. By this, I mean, if I find myself in a situation wherein I suffer anti-meaning damage to my psyche, I'd be a fool to just sit there and take it. Therefore, I use a variety of defense mechanisms to deflect what amount of damage I can, or to simply exit the situation altogether. I was having coffee, as an example, with a friend the other day, and pretty soon I noticed a serious disconnect within our hearts. I realized that in order to continue the conversation we were having, I'd have to twist my soul, so I upped and left on the spot. Sometimes my parents are saying things in the living room and I can hear them. I've started putting headphones on so that I can't make out what they're saying, and I can't shake the feeling that it is for the better. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I find it useful at this point in my life to employ defense mechanisms when faced with anti-meaning so that my sanity and my soul do not suffer great damages. Is this escapism? Is this a sign of weakness? Is this cowardice masked as bravery or virtue? Am I a kid? I don't know what the answers to the questions above are, but I know this. I am Beatrice. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.